Greetings to all. Welcome to Future Officers Academy. Today we are going to see the daily current affairs of May 1, 2024. To get more daily current affairs videos, follow our YouTube channel, also our Telegram channel. Now we'll move on to the topics. Today we are going to see three topics. Those are drug trafficking, street vendors, and El Nino, La Nino. Drug trafficking comes under GS2. Under the governance, you have to know about this. Street vendors also come under GS2 paper under the governance. El Nino and La Nino comes under geography, which is our GS1 paper. So we'll see all these three topics of today. In this, our first topic is drug trafficking. Why drug trafficking is currently in news? Because 86 kg of narcotics seized in Gujarat coast. Now, we have to know about what is drug trafficking. It is the worldwide illegal commerce of growing, producing, distributing, and selling drugs that are forbidden by law is known as drug trafficking. India finds it especially difficult to combat the maritime illicit drug trade because of its close proximity to the trade routes. To learn more about the problem, crime networks deal in a variety of substances such as we can see such as heroin, cocaine, methamphetamine, and cannabis. Global drug addiction and accessibility have increased along with this permeability of international border. The Narcotics Control Bureau stated that the operation to stop the trafficking of heroin and other drugs in Indian Ocean region. To stop this illegal narcotics movement, the NCB enlists the assistance of the Indian Navy as well as the other law enforcement and intelligence organizations. Now, what is the global view on this drug trafficking? The worldwide illegal commerce of growing, producing, distributing, and selling drugs have been seen in globally. The primary routes used by heroin traffickers to connect Afghanistan with the vast markets of Russian Federation and Western Europe are the Balkan and Northern routes. The Balkan route travels through which the Balkan route. It travels through Turkey, Greece, Bulgaria, and the Islamic Republic of Iran, Southeast Asia, Southeast Europe. Also, before arriving at the Western European market, cocaine is usually shipped by a sea from Colombia to Mexico or Central America, and they by land to the United States and Canada for North American market. India is sandwiched between the Golden Triangle and the Golden Crescent. The two biggest regions in the world for the illicit opium cultivation. The fact that India is now both a destination and transit country for opiates generated in these areas has historically been seen as cause of vulnerability. Now we have to know about what is this golden crescent and golden triangle. The golden crescent is the region which the spans of mountain borders of Afghanistan, Pakistan, and eastern Iran. Is situated at the intersection of Central, South, and West Asia. Now we have to know about the Golden Triangle. It is the region where Ryuk and Mekong rivers converge to form the borders of the Thailand, Laos, and Myanmar. Since the 1950s, these two regions have produced the most opium. The Golden Crescent has produced opium for longer time, and the Southeast Asia's Golden Triangle, it started producing opium in the modern era until 1980s. The Golden Crescent has started doing so in 1950s. The country's drug trafficking trends and patterns indicate a gradual shift in the types of drugs being trafficked from traditional or natural substances to synthetic ones. Drug trafficking mostly happens at the land borders with air and maritime routes following. India has tried to address the problem by reducing the supply and demand for drugs. To do this, it has passed laws, worked with non-profits, tightened border and coastal security, increased surveillance, and actively sought out to support for its neighbors and the global community. And in this, we have to know some of the government initiatives taken by Indian government. What are the government initiatives? We could find drug supply reduction initiative and drug demand reduction initiative. Others are also we could find NORCOD, which stands for Narco Coordination Center, in order to effectively coordinate operations among several ministries, departments, and federal, state, and local law enforcement organizations dealing with drugs. The government established the NORCOD system in 2016. Next is NDPS Act of 1985. NDPS is nothing but Narcotics, Drugs and Psychotropic Substance. This act has given several border guarding forces including BSF, SSB and Assam Rifles the authority to make interdictions of narcotics at sea in order to deter smuggling along the border areas. Now, how the international treaties and conventions work on this drug trafficking. United Nations Convention on Drugs is introduced in 1961. These are the international treaties to stop drug trafficking. The first one is United Nations Convention on Narcotic Drugs. It was introduced in 1961. The next is United Nations Convention on Psychotropic Substance, which is done in 1971. The next is UN Convention against illicit traffic in narcotic drugs and psychotropic substance. It was introduced in 1988. Then the final is UN Convention against transnational organized crime. It was introduced in 2000. Now we have to know some of the challenges seen in this drug trafficking. Law enforcement finds it difficult to find these hidden chemicals as offenders come up with even more inventive techniques to disguise illegal drugs for transportation. Both local governments and law enforcement organizations have faced significant challenges as a result of the introduction of new psychoactive substance, that is NPS. Darknet markets are hard to follow since they are anonymous and low risk. They currently dominate the markets for traditional medication. Studies show that 62% of the darknet is used for illicit drug trafficking. These are the things about the drug trafficking. Next topic is street vendors. We saw that it is also comes under governance. So GS2. Now you have to know about what do we need to know about the street vendors. A person who sells things to general public without having a permanent storefront from which to do business is known as the street vendor. These sellers are becoming more and more common in large cities across the globe, particularly in emerging Asia, Latin America, and Africa. Where? In Asia, Latin America, and in Africa. It is estimated that there are 49.48 lakh street vendors in India. There are just 72,457 street vendors in Delhi. In Sikkim, no street vendor has been found. Now, for these street vendors, we have constitutional provision. An Indian citizen has the fundamental right to engage in any profession, trade, or business as stated in Article 19 under Class 1G. It says that equality before law. According to Article 14, it says no one living on Indian territory may be denied equality before the law or equal protection under the law. Also, we have the social justice that Indian Constitution preamble declares that the India is socialist, secular, democratic republic that is sovereign, that it will provide its people with social justice, economic, political, and status and opportunity equally. Under the directive principle also we could find in the directive principle article 38 class 1 says that it is mandated to safeguard a social order that upholds social, economic and political fairness and informs all national institutions in order to further a welfare of the population. The right to work is expressly granted by Article 41 subject to the state's economic competence. Also, Article 39A says to create policies that guarantee every person, male and female, alike the right to sufficient standard of living. Now, we have to know about why there is a rise in these street vendors. First, people have been driven out of their villages in quest of better life in the metropolis by a combination of poverty and lack of viable employment in rural areas. These migrants are forced to labor in an unofficial sector because they lack the education and skills necessary to obtain better paying jobs in the formal sector. To the second, a portion of population in these nations is compelled to work in an unorganized sector. They are laborers who held jobs in the government sector. They had to go for a low paying labor in unofficial sector in order to survive after losing their positions due to closures, downsizing, or mergers in the industries they have worked. Now, what are the challenges faced by these street vendors? They found a lack of space also to tackle a multiple authorities and a frequent eviction and an extortion racket, that is hatha or rangadri tax cases the frequent. Now we can see some of the government initiatives were given for this street vendors. The first one is Swanidhi scheme. Under this, over 50 lakh street vendors, including those from nearby peri-urban and rural areas who had been selling their wares in urban areas, were gained from introducing of this Swanidhi scheme. Additionally, it seeks to encourage digital transactions by offering cashback initiatives up of 1,200 annually. And the second initiative is National Association of Street Vendors in India. In this, an organization called NASB works to defend the rights of thousands of street sellers nationwide to a living wage. The next initiative is the Street Vendors Protection of Livelihood and Regulation of Street Vending Act. It was introduced in 2014. These are the some of the government initiatives under the street vendors. Next, we have to see about El Nino and La Nino. Here, what is El Nino? El Nino and La Nino are the climate patterns. These both are climate patterns in Pacific Ocean affecting the weather worldwide. These phenomena are extremely important for understanding the global climate. The El Nino or La Nino southern oscillation has major influence on climatic patterns in various parts of the world. In addition to changes in atmosphere, the natural occurring phenomena is caused shifting ocean temperatures in central and eastern Pacific. During normal conditions in Pacific Ocean, trade winds blow west along the equator, taking warm water from the South America towards Asia. To replace the warm water, cold water rises from depths, a process called upwelling. El Nino and La Nino are two opposing climate patterns that break these normal conditions. Also, scientists call these phenomena the El Nino Southern Oscillation Cycle. El Nino means a little boy or a child in Spanish. South American fishermen first noticed periods of unusual warm water in Pacific. The full name used as El Nino de Navidad because El Nino typically peaks around in December. El Nino can affect our weather significantly. The warmer waters cause the Pacific jet stream to move south of its neutral position. With this shift, areas in northern US and Canada are drier and warmer than usual. El Nino has significant impact on marine species of the Pacific coast as well as under typical circumstances, upwelling delivers cold nutrient-rich water from the depths to the top. Upwelling weakness or ceases entirely during El Nino. There is a reduction in phytoplankton of the coast when the nutrients from deep are absent. This impacts fish that consume phytoplankton, which impacts everything and consumes fish. Tropical animals like yellowtail and albacore tuna may enter regions that are usually too cold as a result of the warm waters. Now we can see about La Nina. La Nina means a little girl in Spanish. It is opposite of El Nino. These cold waters in Pacific push the jet stream northward. Also, this tends to lead to a drought in the southern US and heavy rains and flooding in the Pacific Northwest and Canada. During La Nina, waters of the Pacific coast are colder and contain more nutrients than usual. A neutral state is when either El Nino or La Nina is present during the time of the sea surface temperatures in the tropical Pacific are close to average. Now we can see the impacts of El Nino and La Nina. The impacts of El Nino are the effects on the power, speed and temperature of the ocean currents. Also, coastal fisheries and local weather of Australia to South America are affected. Rainfall increases drastically in South America, contributing to the coastal flooding and erosion, but causes Australia's and Indonesia's drought. In certain regions of the world, cholera, dengue, and malaria cases have been linked to El Nino related flooding, but respiratory issues might arise from wildfires caused by dryness. Upwelling on the coast of Ecuador, Peru, and Chile. Weaker monsoons and sometimes drought in India and Southeast Asia. The impacts of La Nina, what it makes is winters are the milder in northern Europe and colder in southern, western and Mediterranean regions of Europe. In North America, it causes strong winds along with the equatorial region, hurricanes in the Caribbean and Central Atlantic and more tornadoes in US. Drought is South America, especially in Peru and Ecuador. Heavy floods in elevated temperatures around the shores of Somalia, Indian Ocean and the Western Pacific. India has colder winters due to the formation of north-south low pressure system and that draws in powerful cold air from Siberia. That's all from our today's topics. To get this PDF download, the link will be provided in the description and the PDF you can download from our Telegram channel. To get more videos, follow our channel. Thank you.